Welcome to the Advertising Ascendancy podcast. Today's episode, we will be talking about the benefits of PPC ads and SEO for local small brands. Today, we have incredible guests lined up. We have Dayan, who is the owner of Position My Site that focuses on organic SEO and is launching a SEO platform that is going to change the game for SEO specialists. And we also have Gerry Morton here, who is the owner of Daydream Solutions, that is a Google preferred agency. Thank you guys for joining the show.
Welcome. So happy to be here with you.
In this episode, I would love to explore pay-per-click advertising and search engine optimization and how it significantly benefits local businesses, especially small brands in the beauty niche, and how they can increase their online visibility and, drive more traffic to their website. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on the importance of online visibility for local small businesses.
Sure. Well, I think, first and foremost, business owners have to realize that visibility is extremely important. If you're not placed, within a search, on Google, then someone else is. So you might as well put yourself in that footprint so that you can generate business. I think it's extremely important for small businesses, or like any business for that matter, to have online visibility through Google ads. I'm only going to talk about Google ads because that's our bread and butter with my business and that's my expertise. But, a lot of people don't realize that you need to have a footprint in the search engine where if people are searching, if active users, active clients are looking for information or looking for products or anything that you offer, through your business, you need to be able to be visible in order for them to find you. And if you're not, then it's going to be your competitor who is. So
right,
that's the main thing that I'd like to mention off the bat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't do PPC, but I know that it's a huge component of a marketing strategy, especially at the beginning, when you don't have an ecosystem set up online. So you're definitely going to want to reach out to someone like Gerry here to help you navigate that. Also, I don't know how it is anymore, because I remember a long time ago, is the quality of the landing page still extremely important?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. There's a handful of factors that are extremely important, just as important, if not even more than your actual advertising campaign.
Right.
I think that is actually a really valid question, because a lot of the times that you see campaigns that flopped is because they just thought they could pick some keywords, throw out a campaign with good ad copy, and connect it to their homepage, and that it would convert. And they don't get conversions because the quality score is not good and the customer journey mapping has not been done. So I think that was a very valid point. You definitely need a strong landing page associated to your ad.
Right. And then is it you solely rely on Google's discretion for the score, or is there something that you look at when you're dealing with a new client that you kind of like, hey, this sucks, this is good, you need to change this?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, the quality score is dependent on various factors. I'm not going to be able to list them all off right here, but the idea is that quality score is one thing, okay? Landing page experience is another. If you're going to be sending paid traffic, and I'm just talking about paid traffic, that's my specialty. If you're sending paid traffic to your site in order to generate leads, generate business, you have to make sure that the landing page experience is top notch, and that's very contemporary. I think people forget that, a user searching online, seeing an ad, and then clicking on it, going to your site, doesn't necessarily know exactly how to work your site. So let's say they get to your site, and back to Emily's, mentioned before that, maybe you just get to the site and it's just you think that it's self-sufficient. Well, it was one of you that said it, I believe it was. But it's not, right? You almost have to make sure that your site is optimized so that it spoon feeds the actual user when they're on the site.
You want to reduce the bounce.
Yeah, you want to reduce the bounce rate, absolutely. But you also want to make it as easy as possible for them to actually follow through with a conversion action. So if they get there, and if your number one conversion action, because that you want to get people on the phone, if it's e-commerce, you want to try and get sales online. If it's brick and mortar, maybe you want to try and get people to come in. But if it's let's say you're booking appointments, let's say it's the beauty business, and you would rather get someone on the phone so that you can tell them more details than what might be available on your site, then you have to kind of spoon feed people to actually call. So your call to action on your site has to be very visible.
Right.
It can't be small. Like the one thing that people get wrong all the time is that they get these sites developed and their phone number is like the size of the fine print at the bottom of the footer.
Or it's not clickable.
Or it's not clickable. Yeah, exactly.
It drives me nuts. Yeah.
So, you really have to keep in mind that like something as simple as that could be night and day in terms of your conversion rate.
Right.
I think that's a really strong point, especially addressing the beauty industry, because a lot of beauty service providers don't want to provide their number. They want you to book directly online. And I have a major issue with that because as a customer, I want to be able to call and someone to answer right away, answer my questions, and then I might book. And a lot of local beauty businesses fail on that mark. They think they're providing enough information on their website. They don't need to invest in that situation for their brand. And you just book online or DM me on Instagram. And I think they're probably missing out on a lot of bookings a month as a result of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of these are really great points. And I love what you're talking about when you're talking about the conversion rate you're talking about, e-commerce, whether you're going to purchase something, whether you want to sign up, whether you want a phone call, like what's the action you want. It's very similar to organic as well, by the way, except with paid traffic, like you're kind of more in control as to how much money you can spend to direct that traffic towards you. And I guess it comes down to numbers game. It's like not all the traffic that gets directed towards you is traffic that you're going to convert. So it's up to you to make sure that your site is up to par to maximize that conversion.
Yeah.
Whatever it be, whether it be purchase something, fill out a form, make a phone call. And that's interesting too, that I didn't know that the beauty industries don't want phone calls.
They don't. And speaking on that conversation of organic traffic, I think that it is so imperative for a local business to invest in being searchable through organic traffic, and especially their local listing.
For sure.
And I would like for you to, explain to the listeners the value on that local listing, the value of organic traffic, and also the long-term play on how much they decrease on their marketing spend when they invest in that.
For sure. So for organic local, let's just say we'll call it organic local just for all the listeners. Essentially, it's you start at the same place always. Create a Google listing, fill it out, Google My Business, get it going, fill out all the required information, get verified if need be, whether it's a postcard, whether it's a phone call. Sometimes you don't even need to. If you're already verified through Google Search Console or through Google Analytics or GA4. But that's not the only thing you need to do. It's also about how many other sites are also signaling that you're in that local space. So there's a ton of different local websites like Yelp, and just to name one of them, where you need to go and you need to create a profile for your business and make sure that you're locally organized. I hate to use the same word, ecosystem, but that's what it is. It's a local ecosystem that you don't want to have to use the city in your keyword in order to find your service. That's the worst thing, in my opinion, that you can do for organic traffic. So for instance, if you're selling lashes, you don't want to have to rely on someone typing in Toronto lashes or Toronto lash service. You just want someone to be able to write eyelashes or eyelash service, and you come up.
Or like best eyelash, or stuff like that.
Correct.
It's verified.
It's already verified. Yeah, like you don't want to have to use the moniker Toronto or Vancouver or Montreal or Philadelphia. In my opinion, that's a failure.
Because I think, just not to cut you off, but also just for anyone listening so they can understand, because they might be very new to SEO and Google advertising. Mm-hmm. If they type in lashes near me and they're in a kilometer radius of your business, if you properly integrate the SEO, you will pop up.
Correct.
So it's not like if you're in Hamilton and you're in Toronto searching best lashes near me, the Hamilton business will show up. So just to clarify that for listeners.
Yeah, and like for our software that we're launching, which I have on my phone here, so we allow you to set a primary location. And then we also allow you to do additional locations, and depending on the package that you purchase, we can do up to additional 5 locations that you could set your keywords to. So you can actually track your keyword performance in different market spaces across the world. You can pick Lahore, Pakistan, or you can pick Amsterdam, or you can pick Toronto, or you can pick Miami, and it'll track you could actually add an address and it'll track a 25-kilometer radius from that address or a 60-kilometer radius from that address, how you're ranking in that section. And it does it in real time. So that's kind of what we're focusing on ourselves, which has a lot to do with local. And I think it's going to be a very powerful tool. There's a few other competitors that are starting to kind of get into that space as well, because it's important to understand that when you're using these SEO tools online to verify how powerful or how good your SEO specialist is working, or maybe you're working on it on yourself and you want to verify, like, how is this going? It's hard because in what location? Google's global. Like, it's
100%.
not. Yeah. So that's important too. So, and then how do you, if you only have one landing page that does all your sales, let's say, does all your lashes, let's say, you're not going to create a different landing page for every city around the world. You just want one page that works everywhere. That gets dicey. That gets hard. So
100%.
I mean, you probably deal with that more than I do because.
Yeah, it depends on the industry. But
yeah.
I have a great question for you guys. So I was on TikTok and a girl made a post about how she thinks SEO and Google is dead and that it is just about social advertising. And I have a major beef with that, but I would like to hear your thoughts on that comment.
yeah, I have a great answer for that. So, like, nobody goes to TikTok or Facebook or Instagram to like research life stuff, right? So
in politics.
well, you're gonna be fed that anyways. But
On X, you mean?
I think that whenever someone's looking for information, Google's like a world directory. It's a life directory. So essentially, it's all based on relevance. If you were to go to TikTok to research information about something that you had no idea about, I mean, I think that you'd probably be, led down the wrong direction. I don't even think that you'd be able to find what you want. So I think that it also depends on the user. I mean, someone who says that obviously has a thing against Google, or they just don't realize what they're saying, because at the end of the day, we used to go to phone books to find people's phone numbers.
And there's the whole AI thing now too, right? So
yeah, sure.
So like, for instance, like, Chat GPT, let's just take that. That was OpenAI, which was actually started by Elon Musk. Someone mentioned X. It was actually started by him. Then he gave it away to a consortium who then sold it to Microsoft, unfortunately. And it's become one of the most widely well-known, AI platforms in the world. I use it daily myself.
Just to replace like your brain, right?
Well, yeah, like
works a bit better. Or...
Yeah, like I'll write an email. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, no, my brain's like totally fried.
How do I get this email less angry?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, how do I tell my wife like that I don't want her food anymore? And no, I'm joking, but you essentially, it's really important to understand that AI is the search engine. So like, Bing has already told us that they are using ChatGPT, or a derivative of ChatGPT. It's not really ChatGPT. Theirs is more powerful. They're already using it in their algorithm. So the question that I get more often than not now is, how do I advertise on my page for the algorithm for AI? How do I get my company to be listed as a result when someone's querying AI? And how do we do that? And the simple answer is, it's not any different than what you're already doing. The more content that you have derived towards your product or service, the more authoritative, although Google took away the authority question a long time ago. So you're not allowed to have like an author who's an authoritative stance anymore. Like, they got rid of that because it was abused. It was abused like crazy. But there's still a way that the algorithm still looks for it. So this algorithm's smart enough to know that if Dayan's posting 66 articles a month about a certain topic, month after month after month, and there's a lot of people linking to it or using it as an authoritative source, then you become an authoritative source by the algorithm, and the algorithm itself gets eaten by the AI bot. The AI bot eats what the algorithm reads. So there's a spider. The spider will then collect the content that gets parsed. It gets stored into a database. That database gets consumed by the AI bot, and then therefore you end up in the results for the AI result. That's basically the chain that happens. So that's the answer.
So maybe just to digest that a little bit for our listeners who
English.
Yeah, just like
SEO specialists. Yes. Essentially what David is saying to you, the more content you put out on your website through blog format,
right,
you position yourself as an authority in your niche. So if you're a lash artist or a spray tan artist or even a hairdresser, it would be great benefit to you to be blogging daily about what you do, what you offer, what you sell, and make sure the content is relatable and also what readers want to read, because the more people that read your content, the more Google will position yourself as authority.
100%. Yeah. So like you also don't want to just do like a lot of people are like doing, okay, well, I'm a lash artist. I'm just going to create this awesome article about everything you need to know about lashes in under 20 steps. Let's just say you create that article. You post it. You put some great pictures. It's all original content. You wrote it, and then you wait. You're like, well, why isn't it on page 1? What's going on? Well, because there's 7,000 other people that did the same thing. So you need to understand that you need to have more than one article. You need to be doing this over and over and over again, and
be creative.
And you have to. I know this is like a big no to a lot of SEO specialists. They don't like it when you link out to other websites. But when you're starting out and you don't have a lot of links to you, the best thing you can do is link out to other people.
That's what I had done with Bronze by Bloom. 100%.
100%.
I linked a lot to a lot of other companies. Especially like the
PPC too.
Especially with the products that I was using. I mean, that's a great way to do that organically without it seem like you're trying to do SEO. You can actually have an organic feel to your article, and the beauty industry and it's quite helpful, and it will bring a lot of eyes to your website. Correct. Because if you discuss in a blog the products you're using and you tag their website, other artists are going to come to your blog to see what products you're using and then click on the link. And so that will help drive authority, and it's a very organic way of doing it.
At the beginning, 100%.
At the beginning, exactly.
100%. Yeah, because the more links that you create to other sites, the more of a spider or a network you're creating that has the possibility of somebody else clicking on some of those links. And eventually, like, people are content with being on your content and being driven to other sources, because the internet, when you're browsing the web, whether it be late at night, whether it be like on a break during lunch or something, you're clicking, you find something, you click on that, it takes you somewhere else, you go down the rabbit hole. So it's nothing worse than like being on a website where you have to hit the back button to go back to the Google search to look for something else. You want the person, if they're going to leave your website, they should leave through a link that you gave them. Because that leaves an impression in the brain. Exactly. Where you'll go back there later as an authority, like you said, like an authoritative source. And I think that would also increase your PPC.
Well, Google says that. I mean, there's two things, right? Like Google Ads is like one animal, and I think SEO is another. And I think that Google says that your SEO results have a zero impact on your Google Ads performance. But we know that there's a slight correlation there.
I didn't know.
If you get, well, because Google's all about relevance, right? So regardless, if the only difference between SEO and Google Ads is that Google makes money off Google Ads, right? So of course they're going to give you like a step up, and I mean, it's a pay-to-play situation. But they will say that, SEO doesn't necessarily have an impact on your ad ranking, let's say. But if you have a lot of traffic, or you have a lot of action, or you have a high relevance, let's say, score, whatever that would be in the SEO world, right?
It would help the SEO.
Right? Then it does have an impact on your ads in the sense that more people are interacting and more information's out there that's relevant for your business connected to your website, okay, in the Google environment. And yes, it does have a play with Google Ads to a certain extent.
Okay, I didn't know.
But it's like unseen. It's not mentioned. It's just that through years of experience,
Google does it a lot. Yeah, Google has a lot of that going on, because like what used to be yesteryear, they're like, oh, we're deprecating this. And then like you realize 5 years later that you don't focus on something, and then now you're losing out. So I think, from my personal opinion, to anybody listening, like if you're doing something with SEO and there's something new, don't stop doing what you're doing before. Continue doing it, because you can add to the repertoire, but just, it's like dating, No, you're not going to keep going to the same restaurant over and over again, but it doesn't mean that you're never going to go back there and eat there again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Bringing up on your backlinking and interlinking, I think that there is a good way to bring this to relevancy to anyone listening who has no idea about Google Ads and SEO, and to kind of view links as networking, like on social media. Okay. You're networking with other websites, and you are trying to connect all these websites together to create a network. And the bigger your network is, the more authority you are. So to bring that to, a example on social media, it would be like your followers, right? So the more you build your network out, the more followers you have, and picture your follower as like your authority on Google. So backlinking is important as much as linking outwards. So working with other brands, getting them to feature you on their website is also an extremely important piece of the puzzle as well.
So yeah, I totally agree with you. Question for you. When you were doing your Bronze by Bloom, and you were doing at the beginning, you were reaching out, you were like creating outlinks, like you were reaching out, you were creating exterior links. Did you find that helped increase your backlink?
You mean when I had press?
Yeah.
So the press 100% changed the game for my business. Once we did our press campaign, I mean, Bronze by Bloom has been closed for 3 years and we're still first on Google on local citation.
That's something.
Yeah, like we don't even have a website anymore. And my local citation is still number one. So that was the strength in which we had in terms of SEO. And I'll be honest, I mean, we worked on it for years. It wasn't something that came easy, but we worked hard. And
I remember.
Press was a big piece of it. And I don't think that press just brings SEO. It also brings notoriety, which I think is extremely important in the beauty industry. I think that a lot of beauty brands disregard the power of press for everything, including your search, right? And it does help convert your ads as well. When you have notoriety like that and someone's coming on your landing page, there's trust. And I think when you're in the beauty industry and you are running ads, having that trust present itself very, very early on the website is very important for the customer journey, because sometimes in the beauty industry, you can feel a little bit apprehensive on a Google ad, right?
Sure.
So having that branding there, that trust instilled will really help the conversions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people do read reviews. People do look, like, not every user is going to go to a site and just like bounce away or just like see the first thing that they see and then validate it and then just trust it. Some people will explore it, right? And especially I think when it comes to like the, beauty business or anything that has to do with like personal improvement, it is personal improvement, right? I think that people will probably be a little bit more weary in terms of trusting whatever source that they're actually visiting.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah. Actually, it's funny that you're bringing this up now, because let me ask you guys this question. So you tell me what you think. So, unpopular opinion or popular opinion? When you use Google Ads and it says sponsored, does that make you trust the link more or less?
I personally, I'm not affected by sponsored. I want to click on what's top of the page, but what I will also check is, are they populating organically as well? And
because though.
Because I know.
But most people aren't. They have no idea about that.
No.
I think most people click on sponsored. They'll click on the first one that's popping up, right? And then the next situation in the cases of the weary, they're clicking on what's next organically. Right? So if you're not, but I think in order to really have a successful campaign, I think you should be showing up multiple times. Your local citation should be first, your ads should be first, and then your organic should be first.
I think like a strong PPC response at the top of the page along with an organic is like super important. Like even if you're ranking on organic, like do the PPC, because like some people don't even scroll down. Like why wouldn't you? You're just losing business.
No, they don't. And then especially like on mobile, but like let alone, if you see multiple instances of the same business with the same
you're clicking
before you even click on it. Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, this business must be legitimate. They must be.
They're spending money.
The best of.
They're spending money, right? Like it's not cheap to be there. So obviously you're doing something right. So for me, that lends an air of trust. It's like
100%.
Yeah, like.
You have the money to invest into marketing. You clearly are busy, and you're busy because your services are good.
Yeah,
and that is what the brain is.
Yeah, to me, that's how I look at it. But I have some people who are like, "Oh, I never click on sponsored because obviously they're just paying to be there," and I'm just like, "Well, you'd be surprised. They're also paying to be on the first page."
Okay, so I have a comment on that. A big discussion that I have always with entrepreneurs is, okay, social media. They focus all their time and attention in marketing on social media. But every time I onboard a client and we have them full blown on social media and now they do organic search and PPC, their volume of traffic that come from organic and PPC, I mean, it's 15 times more than their social, sometimes even more than that, 30 times more. They're customer acquisition from the social media platforms is so small compared to their Google search that it actually blows my mind. And so what are your thoughts on, brands thinking that social media is the end all be all? And I'm not saying they shouldn't have social, because you definitely need to nurture your audience. I'm on social media. I think personal branding is very important. But I think there is a big disconnect of what personal branding means to your brand, but also being viable on search.
Yeah.
I'll let you.
I would love to just answer quickly here, but social advertising, social presence is very important. Most people have social accounts. Some people spend more time than others. But, the social environment or social advertising is essentially disruptive advertising.
Yeah.
Okay? It's interrupting you from doing whatever you're doing, right?
Thank you.
With an ad, presenting you with a product or some sort of idea, whatever it may be, and then trying to get you...
Push marketing.
Yeah, trying to get you to leave that...
what you were doing.
Yeah, whatever it was that you were doing. And you know what? A lot of people on social, you waste time. I'll be on Instagram sometimes. I don't even use Instagram that much, but I'll be on Instagram sometimes and I just kind of scrolling through because I want to see the latest sports thing, or I want to see
I just look for your photos.
You just look.
I just wait for Gerry's.
There's only two, so but yes, I mean it's essentially disruptive advertising. So you have to look at it in one way. You're only going to get a certain percentage of an audience that's going to, move forward and navigate to your business. Whereas if you can capture them with all the different realms and all the different environments, then you can keep them engaged during their customer journey. So Google Ads, for example, I'll just speak on behalf of what I know. You can bring someone into your net, bring someone into your spider web through a Google ad because they were actively searching for a product or a service or a business. And then you can capture them in your web to advertise to them on social. You can capture them in your web to advertise to them on, with Google Ads. You can also do YouTube advertising. Videos are very effective. But yeah, essentially, I mean, when people think, and I'll just answer your question, that when people think that social advertising is probably the, beginning and end of everything, it's not, and it's just for that very reason that
I agree.
It's not as specific. It's not that specific. It's not like someone's not actively searching or actively seeking out your services. They're just being shown the information.
I'm in no way, shape, or form an expert on social advertising whatsoever, but I'm just saying from my own personal experience.
Yeah.
I feel like if I go on Google and I'm looking for something, I don't know, maybe I'm looking for, okay, actually, I'll give you a real issue. So in my car, the charging section of the car is too low, when you put your phone down.
Mm-hmm.
So I always...
Well, it's also because your phone's just
probably, right? But yeah, but it's the max, yeah. But so I have to put it upside down to charge it on the charger, and then it connects right away. I find that annoying because then I can't see the screen when it's charging. So I was looking for a case that had some type of magnet that was lower or higher. I don't know, something that increased the surface area for the connectivity. And I was Googling it, and I was clicking on a lot of sponsored ads, and it took me to companies that were either phone case manufacturers, they wanted to hey, let's do a run. I can make 30,000 by next Tuesday. Or you'd find companies that just sold accessories, and maybe what you were looking for is there or not. And then on social media, what I would do is I would go to the social media profile on Instagram to verify the images of the cases. So I feel like social media is more like a verification system. It's
100%. I agree with that.
Check.
It is. You're right. That's how I always use social.
Yeah.
And I think businesses need to realize that is what it is. It's a background check. So it is a very important thing to have, and you definitely need it, but you're not really getting that pull marketing from social media. The intent is not there.
Yeah.
The intent to buy or to book a service is way higher on Google than it'll ever be on social media, because also when you post, let's say you are a spray tan artist and you post content, you get 100,000 views. I mean, you don't know if those 100,000 views are from the UK, the US, Canada, could be worldwide. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's in your local area. And at the end of the day, you are offering a local service.
That happened to me.
And
that happened recently. No, go ahead. I'll go back after. But I was looking for door locks, and these special door, multi-point locks.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for multi-point locks, and they have them in the UK, because all the doors in the UK are multi-point. And I needed one that worked with Google Home, and I found it. But the problem was that on social media, I went to verify the app only is able to be downloaded in the UK. You cannot download it in Canada. So things like that, like you were just saying, you might be finding products or services on social media that may not be tailored to your specific location, depending on the net that is cast, or if the account is set up properly. I guess that lends true on Google too. If you have like your settings incorrectly set as PPC, you could
it's like throwing money into a fire and like pouring gas on it, and then lighting it. But back to what Emily was saying is that real time is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, you can influence people on social. It is a very important component, but you want to catch people in real time, because when people are actively searching for something, whoever they stumble across is most likely going to be the candidate for them to, win that business.
Yeah.
If they're seeing the right things when they land on the site, right? And if they're being followed around afterwards with the right influence. But, most of the time, if someone's looking for a beauty service, let's say, I mean, they want answers now, right? So sure, you can put them in a web and you can influence them as their journey goes on, but to bring them in off the bat, that's probably like your best chance to try and, get their business off the bat, right?
So before we end our show, what I would love for you both to do is, a lot of the listeners today, they're new entrepreneurs or they're very small. They're not looking at this time to potentially hire an SEO specialist or a Google Ads specialist.
They want to learn.
So they might want to learn and do it themselves. So what would be the first steps they could take to effectively, start maybe working on their own SEO or potentially launch their own PPC campaign that could help them get value on a small scale? Because obviously these would be people with smaller budgets and just looking to, gain some new awareness to their brand.
I'll be really quick with this, and it might not be the answer that, anyone's really looking for, but this is the truth. It's all about transparency. If you try to run, regardless of your budget, you could have $500 a month, you could have $500,000 a month.
This happened to me. Yeah.
But if you were to, Google makes it very easy for you to create an account. They have called smart campaigns that allow you to set it up, because at the end of the day, they want you to use their service and they want to make it as simple as possible. Google Ads is not simple. So
100%.
Right? So it's not, and you don't realize that it's not simple until you actually give it a go yourself.
100%.
There's entire courses,
especially green, right? So at the end of the day, I would say if you're willing to give it a go and set up your own ads campaign and, kind of go through the process of it, you have to be willing to fail and you have to be willing to spend a lot of time on it, regardless if it's a smart campaign, because you will be troubleshooting often. And I feel that the best approach is that if you specialize in the beauty industry and you have your own services that you need to spend, 99.9% of the time on, it's probably best that you hire someone who's professional to help you with that side of things, even if your budget isn't big, only because you can spray a lot of cash, as I said. And I think that the experience will just be a headache.
Yeah.
The one last thing I will say is that Google does offer support. I shouldn't be saying this, but I will say it anyways because I'm honest and transparent, but a lot of the support is outsourced. It's not people that work at Google. It's these companies 100%, that are hired, right? Yes. To fulfill quotas. And it's also because they want you to adopt all these automated strategies, right?
The automated strategies that will drain your bank account.
Exactly.
100%.
Right? So
the best advice I got when I first started off Google advertising from someone who was mentoring me was go exactly against all the Google suggestions.
Go against the grain.
100% go against them, because you will be draining your clients' money following them.
I would say that
happened to me.
80% of our clients, most of the campaigns structure and settings are against the grain. We don't use tons of the recommended automated bidding strategies.
100%.
Right. We don't always take all the recommendations that are in the recommendations tab because they can essentially give you really bad plastic surgery. So, and nobody wants that. So, you want to make sure that you optimize your campaigns efficiently. And Google, even with AI, even with all of the machine learning technology that they have, in their environment, it doesn't always specifically speak or service every single type of campaign.
That's interesting.
Experience goes a long way. And, even if your budget, this is back to what I'm saying, if your budget's $500 a month, small budget that you can allocate towards Google Ads. Well, spend $150 to get someone to do it for you.
100%.
Small scale, because
give them 200.
Less of a headache, and at least you'll be in good hands.
Yeah,
it's the right person to try and make the most of your ad spend.
I totally agree. For on the SEO side, so we're launching something called PMS SEO Site Signals. What we've spent the last 3.5, 4 years working on was a crawler that literally crawls the internet in real time. So when you set up your account, it does take a little bit of time. It takes up to 2 minutes to 3 minutes to scan your website. But at the same time, we have Lambda services on AWS that are actually scanning the web and scouring things that either backlinks for you or how many citations or local signals. And we call it site signals because we literally look for the ranking signals that your site's going to come up for. And then we give you a plan on how to basically go ahead and adjust what your website needs to do in order to cater to all those signals. Now, you could get 100% out of 100% on all the signals, 100%, and it still won't mean that you're going to show up on the first page, because what if your backlink structure is not great, or what if, your landing page is not fantastic? There's a million reasons, but the software will give you easy reporting, daily, weekly, whatever you want to set to. And the best part is you can track up to 300 keywords in real time, and every day we'll let you know, hey, this keyword's losing rank or this keyword's gaining rank. And we'll email you and we'll notify you if you're losing rank on a certain keyword, which is really good to know, because maybe you need to prop up some of that content. Maybe you need to do a little bit more social media work. Maybe you need to do some PPC ads, whatever it is, because that's a good point. Because if you're losing ranking and it's going to take you a couple of weeks to gain that back, then maybe a good strategy in the meantime, if you don't want to lose business, is call a guy up like Gerry from Daydream, and you want him setting up a nice campaign in the meantime. And maybe you can raise the budget and lower the budget. That doesn't have to be the same budget every month. Right.
Well, I mean, every business works differently. We have suggested budgets, right, and it can change at any time. It's really up to the customer,
right?
But,
Yeah. So that's basically what we've been working on, and we're really excited to launch it. And yeah, I think it's going to be a game changer because it's live. It's not. A lot of these other companies are giving you databases that scoured the internet, like the Google results page, the SERPs, stored that data into a database, and sometimes they're months old, even years old data. Like, you're making marketing decisions on data that's 9 months old. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, not at all.
What's happening today?
100%. I'm really excited for your platform to launch. I think it's going to help a lot of people in the SEO realm. I want to thank everyone for listening today. I hope that this podcast brought you value and got you some insight on why local advertising is really important for your local business. Thank you so much, Gerry and David, for joining me. I really appreciate it. Can you let the listeners know where they can find you online?
Yeah, absolutely. So Daydream Solutions, it's daydream-solutions.com. We specialize in the real estate industry, actually, but we work with all different kind of businesses, small, medium, large. We work with e-com, and you can find us there.
Positionmysite.ca or .com. And you can find us there. And we specialize in all industries. There's no cohort we won't work with, and there's no industry we won't work with. So give us a call.
Thank you guys for joining.
Thanks, Natalie.